I won't trade you for nothing. It's who you is.
And
wow.
I don't think, bad business move on our part, because our management chewed us out. She was like, you don't go in the studio, you don't jump on no records, you don't do this, you don't do that without anything. We weren't thinking. We were thinking.
Total, another 90s R&B girl group everyone had on repeat, with tracks like Can't You See and Kissing You becoming instant classics. Made up of Kima Rayner, Keisha Spivey, and Pamela Long, they brought this effortless mix of hip-hop and R&B that helped define Bad Boy Records' whole sound. They had fans hooked and climbed the charts, but things behind the scenes weren't so smooth. Like a lot of groups, they hit some bumps. Industry stress and personal clashes eventually led to their split. It was a tough break for a trio that brought so much to the game.
Sure. Yeah. Now, you grew up singing. Is it the church story, or just grew up singing?
Definitely a church.
Word is, Pam had her sights set on going solo and wasn't all in on the group idea at first. She even thought Kima came off a little too extra for her liking. But something clicked, and the next day, Pam hit up Kima and Keisha with a bold move. She was ready to make it happen. At first, the trio went with Total Opposite to show how different they were, but they eventually shortened it to just Total, a name that would go on to become iconic in the R&B scene.
If anything, it was like, I hear a lot of people that I grew up with, they were more shocked because I was always quiet, reserved. It was like, we never thought that would be you, but hey, yeah, you never know.
Once they started making music, their talent caught the eye of Kathy Dukes, who was all in on their potential and took over as their manager. Kathy knew the right people and had the game plan. She set up a meeting with none other than Puffy, the big boss behind Bad Boy Records, who just so happened to be her son's godfather. And that meeting? It all went down at the famous Hit Factory studio in NYC, a place where music legends were made. And from there, it was game on.
Actually, we went to go meet him at the Hit Factory at the studio. And at that time, you had to come down on the elevator and let people in. So he came down.
And y'all just busted right there.
As soon as Kathy was like, soon as them elevator doors open, y'all just better freak shit out. And we had them all backed up against the elevator.
Okay, imagine this. As soon as they saw Puffy, they didn't mess around. They straight up trapped him in an elevator and went for it, busting out an impromptu audition on the spot. They were giving it their all, putting everything into that moment. Pam Long later opened up about how intense it was, saying they were basically right in Puff's face, using their voices to trap him in the elevator. But here's the twist. Puffy didn't flinch. No smile, no nod, nothing. Total radio silence. Talk about a major nerve check. When he finally spoke, he hit them with a game changer. Could you still work together if there was drama between you? It wasn't just about their talent. It was about whether they could keep it together as a team when things got messy. No hesitation, they all said, yes. That seemed to hit home for Puffy, who's big on loyalty and sticking together.
So, okay, I wrote a song.
Yeah, and we performed it for Puffy in the elevator, and he looked at us like, this girl's tripping. But he loved it.
So, they didn't get the feedback they were hoping for. Puffy just thanked them and left the meeting hanging. But that elevator moment, it left a mark. Not long after, Total was officially signed to Bad Boy Records, and that's when their music journey really kicked off.
Scarsdale, New York. Like, he was like a big brother to us, like, and that's the part people didn't see, and that's the part people...
According to Kima, talking about Puffy always gets complicated. People want the drama. They want dirt. But she's not about to give them that. Puffy wasn't some sweet, gentle guy, but he wasn't some monster either. He was, first and foremost, a businessman. And when you take the personal feelings out of it, Kima says his tough love approach actually helped her grow into the woman she is today. This was about 3 years ago. Considering everything going on with Puffy right now, this interview might have been received differently. thick skin, she calls it. But back then, it didn't always feel like a good thing. They were all young and figuring stuff out. And Puffy? Well, he's admitted himself that he was tough to deal with. During the Bad Boy reunion tour, he even said he's been working on being better than the person he used to be. Guess he didn't work hard enough. Kima doesn't sugarcoat it, though. Puffy wasn't nice. He could be cold and relentless. At times, it crushed her confidence, but she doesn't play the victim. She looks at it as a learning experience and says she's grateful for what she got to witness and be part of. Because here's the thing, if Puffy hadn't been who he was, he wouldn't have built the empire he has now. Change any of that, and he might not be Puffy as we know him today.
He would have us come out to, because we have a choice, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could have been like, oh, I don't want to do this, see y'all later. But of course, all of us knew and wanted this outcome because we had goals, right? So we compromised, you know, we went.
She gets it. Running a business isn't easy. People on the outside think it's all glitz and big checks, but it's not that simple. She says Puffy had to make hard decisions to keep the machine running, even if it rubbed people the wrong way. And sure, there are things he probably regrets. Who wouldn't? Imagine being 27 or 28 years old, sitting on millions, and trying to run a whole empire. It's not exactly easy to be everyone's best friend.
Or y'all just vibe, I want to see you dance. And I think that's how he kind of like studied the whole...
Well, people like him, and I'm a little lame, but people like him, they dangle what's called the proverbial carrot in front of you, your career, the hot shit. He shows you hot shit, shows you good shit, good parties. You're going in places that other people can't get in. Look at that long.
For Kima, working with Puffy was a roller coaster. Sometimes they were flying high, on top of the world. Other times, it was rough. But even when he knocked her confidence down, she found a way to bounce back. Looking back, she understands why he acted the way he did. It wasn't personal. It was about chasing greatness. And in a way, she gets it. And chasing greatness in America when you're black comes with huddles you better be prepared for, like dealing with racist white cops. So even though Total was crushing it in the music scene, things weren't always smooth sailing. One crazy moment went down in September 1997, when they found themselves in a showdown with the cops that turned into a full-blown lawsuit. It all started when Pam, Kesha, Dobrat, and their crew rolled into Union Station in Washington, D.C. after a trip on an Amtrak train. They were probably just chill, ready to head to their limo, when Pam and Kesha decided to break out a cassette player and jam to one of their tracks. Classic impromptu jam session, right? But out of nowhere, an Amtrak cop, Officer William Evans, noticed and told them to turn it off. They were cool about it and hit stop on the tape, but they kept singing anyway. Apparently, that wasn't okay with Officer Evans, and things escalated fast. He blocked their way and threatened to arrest them, which totally shocked the group. One of their team tried to step in, but things got out of hand when Evans pulled out mace and sprayed it, sending the whole situation into chaos. The mace hit the group hard, and what should have been a tiny misunderstanding quickly became a huge mess. Total ended up suing Amtrak over the whole thing, claiming the officer kept going with the mistreatment after the mace incident. Allegedly, Evans even ordered them to take their pants off for a search, which was not only invasive but raised major questions about how far he was going with his power. It was an ugly moment that highlighted how black women, even celebrities, have to deal with serious issues when it comes to law enforcement, like dealing with their personal lives is not enough to worry about.
Good morning, everybody. I hope that this message finds you well. I just wanted to get in your face for just a couple of minutes, really fast. There's some things that I'd like to share.
Talking about personal lives, Pamela from the band has had a pretty rough go at it. Pamela Long has been through a lot these past few years, with some serious shakeups in both her personal life and career. Back in 2013, she got hitched to Jamie Long, you know, the guy from Pretty Ricky. Fans and media were all over their relationship, but things behind closed doors, not so smooth. After 6 years together, things hit the fan in a super messy and very public split. Pam even called Jamie out for cheating, which only made things messier. By 2019, their marriage was officially done. Jamie didn't waste any time moving on. That same year, he said "I do" to Cyntoia Brown, the activist and author whose story of beating the odds after being wrongfully locked up had already made headlines. For Jamie, it was like hitting the reset button. His life with Cyntoia was a whole new deal, nothing like what he had with Pam. And Pam? She's doing her own thing. After the split, she dove headfirst into her faith and switched lanes to Christian music.
Especially because I'm going forward in my life with God. I'm looking to be a better person. I'm not.
In 2019, she dropped a track called Why, turning all that heartbreak into something creative. Now she's all about her faith and staying plugged into her community. Living in Jersey, she's an active part of the Agape Family Worship Center in Rahway and completely focused on her music and spiritual journey. Whatever happens, though, she'll always have been a part of a group that made it in the gruesome world that is the music industry. Speaking of the group's success, Total burst onto the scene singing the hook on the Notorious B.I.G.'s Juicy, then kept it rolling with a feature on One More Chance. That hype got them in the studio with Bad Boy's Sean Puffy Combs, and the hits started coming. Their breakout track, Can't You See, featuring Biggie, hit hard, setting the stage for their debut album, which gave us bops like No One Else, with Lil' Kim, Foxy Brown, and Dobrat, and Kissing You, plus a Puffy remix. The album went platinum and made them R&B royalty. While working on their second album, they jumped on collabs like LL Cool J's Loungin', Mate's What You Want, and Biggie's Hypnotize. They also dropped What About Us from the Soul Food soundtrack, a Missy Elliott Timbaland creation. Their follow-up album, Kima, Keisha, and Pam, was a hit, with the Missy-produced single Trippin' climbing the charts. Their next single, Sitting Home, didn't get the same buzz, but a remix featuring Shine gave it extra flair. Even after the album, they stayed busy, lending their vocals to collabs with Gang Starr and Tony Touch, and contributing tracks to movie soundtracks. Their last group credit came on Da Beatmeners and Talib Kweli's Anti-Love Movement, a final nod to their impact on R&B. And that's all for today, folks. If you enjoyed the ride through Total's wild journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on more deep dives into the best of 90s R&B and all things music industry drama. Drop a comment below if you've got any thoughts or want to share your favorite Total track. Catch you next time for more music history and the stories behind the hits.